Hello and welcome to today's video. And today's video is a little bit different because I'm actually in front of the camera. First time I've ever done this. So today's video is going to be 1 year on of my Fossil Sport smartwatch. So before we go straight into this video, I do have a 6-month on video that I did shoot obviously 6 months ago now. But it's worth checking that out because there might be a few things that may have changed, and there might have been a few things that I might have got a little bit wrong. So one of the first things you're going to notice is actually how beat up my smartwatch is. And it's something that I didn't necessarily think would happen to the extent that it has. I mean, I use it on a daily basis anyway because I track my exercise, I use it for notifications, and I use it to just during general work kind of activities, changing music, just having a glance at messages that are sent to me. But I didn't realise that just by 1 year on how beat up it would actually be now. And one of the things I did get wrong in my previous video is that I said the whole thing is actually plastic, and that isn't necessarily the case. The underneath is plastic and you've got the rubber bands, and I've still got my original rubber bands. But the actual face of the watch around the outside is actually aluminium. Didn't know that. So I do apologise if you did watch the previous one. That is wrong. Something else that I've noticed using this on a daily basis, as a daily driver really, is the battery level. And the battery is starting to already decline more than I'd liked it to. I mean, if I was to use it throughout the day, using it for notifications, changing music, general kind of things, if I didn't want to use my phone, that's going to eat the battery up quite a lot. As well as obviously exercising, having the fitness tracker on, having the heart rate monitor on, it does chew up the battery quite a lot. And you would be lucky if you took it off charge at 6 o'clock in the morning. You'd be lucky for it to last till around 10 o'clock at night without it going into battery saver mode. But to be fair, I do have the always on screen, so that might play into it a little bit maybe. And I do use it for music quite a lot whilst I'm working. So moving on to the kind of exercise aspect of using this watch, I'm still using it around 4 or 5 times a week to track my exercises. And still, it has been really good, but now there is one catch, and it's not Fossil's fault. Just want to make that clear, it's not Fossil's fault, it is actually Google's. So I use Google Fit to track all my exercises, reps, the kind of counts, the weights that I'm doing. But for some reason, Google has removed that feature. So they've essentially made it into a glorified heart rate monitor now. You can't create your own custom activities or your own exercises. You can't count reps now, which is ridiculous. You can't put in the weights and the actual weight of the weight that you're doing. They've removed so many features. And I think this is due to Google acquiring Fitbit, because Fitbit was essentially on its last legs. And now, because they've acquired Fitbit, it feels like Google are taking away so many important things if you're into fitness off of Android Wear, because they want to keep Fitbit alive by just saying, this brand has that kind of fitness tracking activity breakdown, whereas now this doesn't. And it's a real bummer because I really did enjoy tracking the amount of reps that I'm doing, watching the weight go up. But now obviously I can't do that because it is essentially a glorified heart rate monitor. Doesn't mean I don't use it anymore. I still use it. I still reach my daily target of how many heart points I want to get to. But it kind of puts me off the idea of buying another Android smartwatch. I probably will go towards Garmin or Amazfit or other brands like that that are focusing on that kind of area. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you should be completely turned off by buying this watch if you're still interested in buying it. So when I bought mine, this was like a year ago now, it was down to £89. This has actually gone down since to £79, and I've even seen them being sold for £69. So if you could get it in the kind of £69 to £79 kind of area, I would still recommend it. I'd still go by the principle that if this was going to be your first smartwatch, and you don't want to spend a ridiculous amount of money on it, to get an Android Wear, especially for the price of 69 or 79, maybe 89 at a push. I don't know if I'd recommend it at £89 now. I would totally still recommend it simply because of all the Android Wear apps and the kind of notifications, everything that you get on it. It's really cheap. It's so worth it. But if you was going to focus towards fitness, and then obviously tracking your well-being and your fitness and your activities, I would kind of steer clear of this and maybe look at some of the cheaper Amazfits that are available around the same price. But it would depend on if you wanted to have the rotating crown, the programmable buttons, and the screen. That's obviously touchscreen as well. I don't think a lot of the Amazfits do have touchscreen at the cheaper kind of price point, but obviously I could be wrong, and I could be proven wrong in a year's time when they go down in price. So, to extend onto that, would I recommend buying this? It depends on your needs. For exercise, no, put it simply, I wouldn't bother, because they've just removed so many features to make it good, and they've really dumbed it down. So I would recommend getting or buying into a brand that focuses on fitness. But as a smartwatch in kind of general, if you're not really bothered in in your fitness, or you're not going to be using it to track your activity, as a general kind of Android Wear watch, if you can get it for 69 or 79 pounds, absolutely, I'd still recommend it. But just be careful of the wear and tear that it will show, because it will show it. I'm really careful with this. I don't know how I got the scratches on the screen. Around the bezel I can kind of understand because there's been a few knocks and a few scrapes, but to the extent of how much that scratched the screen, I genuinely don't know how I got that. So just be wary of, it's a cheaper watch, it's aluminium around the sides, so it's going to scratch really easy. But if it's going to be your first smartwatch, just to see, if you want one or not, or if you think you're going to, a month later not necessarily want it, I would recommend it. I would recommend it. And on that note, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, and if you want to see more of me in front of the camera for a change, then give me a comment, give me a like, maybe even, subscribe to the channel. So, yeah, thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one.